What is up, nerds? Cloud here with the J Breezy with another JHVN.
Exclusive.
All right, me and Jay Breezy, both on our own separate times, we played Lost Soul Aside. So a little bit of a different format here. I'll try to make this short. Me and JD had a podcast a few years ago where we would just play either mobile games or Diablo on the bottom of a screen, and we would yap about video games that were coming up, trailers that came out, maybe information within the gaming sphere, a little bit of anime, and then we kind of we took a break, right? We did our training arc, we came back, and now we're stronger than ever, right? Little One Piece action. This now has ascended to the same thing that we did before. So big part of what we talk about is anything kind of video game related, a lot of anime stuff. We have three videos currently on the channel on this playlist where we talk about Final Fantasy rankings of summons. Again, dipping our toe into a pond of the vast gaming world. The next thing now is, again, in our own separate time, we were able to play Lost Soul Aside. A demo was just released. JD, if you want to intro yourself.
Yeah, so my name is JD, and I like to say no. So Lost Souls Aside, for those who are not familiar, was a game that was in development for quite some time. Initially, I believe it was just more of a technical demo, if you will, of what one creator could do. That particular creator being Yang Bing, who is the original creator of this property. I'm aware of it. Obviously, my co-host is aware of it as well, but there was I know it was more than one video where they were highlighting just sort of the direction that he wanted, like from a concept. It wasn't really like gameplay per se. It was just kind of fixed. And I would argue even the demo now is reflective of showing the same areas that were in that like tech demo, the earlier days. But of course, since then, obviously the production has ballooned up to about, according to sources, about 40 people who are also working on the project. Obviously, Sony has stepped in as well. It's not really an indie game by that merit anymore, but at the same time, it is still, a bit of a labor of love. The direction obviously comes from Yang Bing, and then, from there they kind of developed outward and created this whole world and these stories and stuff. But ultimately, it follows very much what people are accustomed to, like your character action games. Not a term I like to use too much. I just call them just action games, really, at the end of the day. But games similar to your Devil May Cry's, your Bayonetta, things of that nature, where kind of the purpose is like a level of style associated with the way that you take out combat and things like that. There's other things too. And obviously there's a whole discussion on what defines a character action game. We're just being very surface level with it. But that being said, the demo did drop short of the release date, which is scheduled for... It's already out. So this is less of a review in that sense, more of us, bit of an analysis based on, kind of a touch and go.
So starting off, we're going to look at the full demo. Downloading it, I downloaded it on Steam. It had 3 different settings. One was like a tutorial. Second one was a boss rush, which we will go over. But I think in great aspects, I think the first thing to talk about is the game overall. It's a small, very 30-ish minute, if you watch all the cutscenes, kind of gameplay. It starts off coming off of a boat. I can't say anything drastic about the intro. There's I don't remember the female's name, but she was an incredibly attractive individual that was like, I'm gonna sit behind while you go ahead. First demerit I have to bring up is the guy, not Arena, the main character. You could draw, he looks easy to draw. He's very forgettable. There's nothing about his character aside from all the leather or his ponytail that really draws out individual, like this unique character. Clive from Final Fantasy 16 has a huge scar. Cloud with his Mako eyes in his hair. Dante with his white hair and leather red. it just, for me, there's not something about him that I could separate him from a lineup, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. Unfortunately, this kind of follows. You saw this a lot with, and this is going to sound just like I'm, singling out one style of design, but you saw this a lot even with, what was that show called? Or Magna Carta, the artist that did that and those kinds of games for Blade and Soul and whatnot, where they were really eccentric characters. They really highlighted a lot of areas, but there were a lot of real similarities between them. Everyone's always got like a cloth that's flowing. There's strange hair. I don't think anyone's growing out that ponytail that long, but there's all kinds of different choices for the design. This is like really pulled back. It's just leather. He's got the floating, shoulder, shoulder cloth, and then obviously he has I forget the name of his spirit, but he just has his spirit with him that's also kind of the almost same color scheme, same theme, but it's kind of just like standard. It's really average in my opinion. That's not meant to be an insult. It's just, you could dress that up. You could dress that person up. You could dress anyone up in that person's robe, and there's nothing that sets it apart from another person.
I think it's very, very important for your main character to be like physically different so that it's memorable, right? You want this to be, maybe you do want this to be the color of the week game, but a passion, what I would assume to be a very passionate, driven individual that started this process would want the character to live in this individualistic mindset. Stellar Blade, I haven't played it, but I can pick her out of a lineup. Nier can pick him out of a lineup. I just think that when I resonate with a character, I shouldn't have to. I want to be that character. I want to see. I don't know. I also, this sounds really unga bunga of me, but I just want the character to look cool. And in this case, it's not the hair. It's just it's mute. It's vanilla. It's very. Again, I don't know. You can't pick them out.
Yeah, not eccentric is.
Yeah, especially for an action game, like, but in a flashy one at that, right? Another comment, again, kind of going all over the place, is I'm not a huge fan of the voice acting. I think the lines are it's like someone said them in a room with a paper, but without the context of where they're coming from. Am I in fear? Am I in danger? Am I saving someone? What's my character's background? Like, again, I kind of bring up Clive because Clive is the newest iteration of what this game's landscape would be. Clive is, even as a young kid, it was very terse, very direct, very short. Case, I don't know. He's cool, calm, and collective.
I think it's a direction thing that could have been fixed. It was bad direction. I'm confident. I after experiencing the potential of how good a good director can bring out, a motion capture actor or voice actors, emotion and whatnot. I rarely immediately just jump to, oh, it's the actor's fault. I think with a little bit more direction, these guys could have done better. But I do agree, especially in the case of, like, for the voice for our main boy here, for Kaiser. It doesn't imply anything about his personality. I don't know where this is in the story. For all we know, this is still the beginning because you only have one other weapon with you. And, but it does feel like the stakes aren't really all that high. A synopsis for the game will even tell you that this is about him rescuing his sister and then saving humanity. I'm like, where is saving humanity coming to place? Because I know he's got special powers, but ultimately, as far as I'm aware, he's just chased by this empire thing, and he doesn't really seem too concerned about it.
Yeah, so you said that you know the storyline a bit. Jumping into this demo doesn't give you any context. So I'm of the unga bunga mindset of like, yeah, man, this is... you're a cool guy trying to save a girl, right? Like, as terribly characteristic that trope is, that's what the thought process is. What, you got to save someone or save something. You're the only one that can do it. And there's a little bit of a hint of either some group is influenced, because when you fight that character named Victor, he's like, oh, he's different, we got to fight him, as opposed to there's that evil doer, you know. Do you happen to know the story?
No.
Exactly. That's that's my point. It's like, for a demo to succeed, again, I'll probably filter back and forth between not good and bad, but like, if a solo developer has the time and effort, he'll do it. And then once, you know, a lot more hands get into the pot, maybe when you give someone else your passion project to do something, maybe it gets lost in translation sometimes. All I'm saying is, for a demo to reach someone like me who cares about stories, I have nothing. It's not even like a Five Nights at Freddy's lore thing where I have to interpret what's happening. You jump into the world, you hear slight commentary of after you fight Victor in the demo, your character goes, I'm getting a little bit of my power back, my blood is pumping. Okay, so it was taken? Like, give me something to feel for the character, you know?
Yeah, and with that as well, I think there's an issue with how this character is portrayed in what we're seeing on screen right now too, is that it almost feels like anything is surmountable. We're talking about a dude that is turning his sword into multiple other swords, Virgiling like straight up on you, and shooting them as if they're like water at you, and he's just not at full strength and not having a hard time with this. I feel like from a boss pacing standpoint, we're already going against a boss that seems to be pretty, you know what I mean? And that's where it comes to the point of like diminishing returns, where that boss may come off as looking too strong, to where it's like, well, of course I can beat this guy, I've beaten everyone else. Like, it doesn't feel like there's a struggle. You watch even a Fast and Furious movie, and they're gonna show Dom taking some semblance of an L at some point. It just doesn't seem like this game is built to do that. It's kind of like a character fantasy or power fantasy. You're always gonna win, kind of a thing. And that's kind of where my issue comes in to play with this game, is I feel like there's a lot of situations where stakes could be applicable, but they're not. And then, I know nothing about the world around it. Granted, it's a demo, but there should be something that gives me an idea to make me, hey, I want to come back for more, outside of just the gameplay.
Yeah, they're going to the beginning where you jump off the boat. Like, there's a little bit of exploration that happened in the gameplay, and it was cool, right? It was, I use this term very loosely. When I say loosely, I mean, you're given the perspective of an open world. Like, look at this drastic area. Okay, I have a point I need to go to at 504. So 504 steps, I'll be there. Look at these ruins. And even from this level, I can just tell I'm going left. Like, I know I'm going left to right. Now, God of War, game of the year in every sense, from the 2018 and the Ragnarok version. That game's seemingly linear, right? You can go to other places, you can revisit areas. Paths open up based on what weapons you have. Right, Metroid Dread, Metroid Prime, same concept. This game felt very Final Fantasy 16 to me in linear. I'm going to keep bringing it up. I don't mean to make the association that, like, all the time. Forspoken's another one. In Forspoken's open world area, you got to run around and do all this cool stuff. Nothing happened when you did it. This game, I felt the same way. It's just a demo, and I don't want to be too harsh on it. It's just, like, I think there's going to be a lot more, but there's not. It's like, if you you could jump on a banister to get a cool piece of gold, but I don't hate it. I just don't love it, I guess, is kind of as I played the demo, I was like, oh, this is cool, but it could be cooler.
Yeah, kind of going to that point about just sort of what the game is looking to accomplish for you. This is bare minimum for exploration, right? If we're talking about a game that has good exploration, we're talking about a game that encourages you to use, modern solutions for complex problems, and in those situations, that might be, your Zeldas, where you are needing to utilize your the items that you've acquired from a previous dungeon in order to traverse the map or whatever. That's okay, because there's feedback there, right? You get something back as a player. In this game, I truly do feel like all the areas are one time only. You'll see later on in the demo, but there is a bit of a action scene that involves a bit of a pursuit, which is fine. The issue with that is I do believe that pursuit is going to lead us to never coming back to this place ever. I'm pretty sure. That being said, though, you know, we've talked enough about that. I do want to sort of change gears here and talk about the audio from music and from a sound effect standpoint. Perfectly fine with the music. I don't have any issue with that. It's going to be like kind of, you know, just generic battle music, and right now it's generic calm music, right? Life is good. But I think my biggest issue with this, partly outside of the gameplay, which we'll talk about, is the sound. I do feel like there's not enough impact on the attacks. If I'm flipping around, spinning around as this character, and I'm hearing as my attacks, it doesn't really imply strength. So there's a lot of disconnect, you know, dissonance, if you will, between what's going on screen and how it sounds in your ears. I played with headphones on when I was playing, and I had it bumped up. And the entire time, I just felt like these effects are not different from each other. The sound effects. You could have me in a dark room. I'm not going to tell you which kind of slash you did. You know, I have no idea that you just went into effectively Devil Trigger. I have no idea that you're using these extra hands to attack because they sound the same as your sword. You know what I mean? It becomes an issue.
Yeah, to be fully immersed in a game, especially with swords, and like you have 6 different weapons that you can use. There's powers. You have this entity, this dragon that becomes your blade, that accentuates itself into claws. That, yeah, you would expect a dragon roar, maybe. I agree. I'm gonna go off into. I've already felt that tangent coming. I never used a large sword. Because, which is crazy, but because the speed of it didn't really feel. But yeah, even changing into like your activation mode of, again, we're gonna call it Devil Trigger, unless they call it Arena mode, which
your hair goes white.
Yeah, your hair goes white. You're so void of life, and you're again I have to agree wholeheartedly that the sound effect for it didn't leave an impact that made me. It's like, oh, cool, this is a great alpha. I can't wait to see what the beta version has after we've given the feedback that, yeah, when I slash with the sword, it should have a different sound than slashing with the claws, or the activation of, again, this is strictly combat. If you listen to him running around jumping, to me, it sounded fine. It does when he slides through that little crevice. It's just the combat. Really, the audio for it doesn't. I don't feel that right? Nero, Devil May Cry, he slams. He does a cocky one-liner. So does Dante. Like, they add that to it. And in this one, I think he just swipes with the sword. I don't really have a memory of him like, But I'm gonna. He does. It's every.
I don't think
it's the same. Again, it's the same.
Yeah, I don't think his grunting is really adding anything to it, because it really is like PB&J. You gotta have both in that situation.
Yeah.
In this regard, yeah, you can grunt till the cows come home, but if you're not sounding, you know, or if the sound itself doesn't really imply it, then there's an issue. Again, music-wise, no issues. Like I you know, it's nothing stands out, but that doesn't imply anything negative. It just means, if anything, it's, you know, maybe we haven't gotten to that point where there's going to be like a really good, you know, boss fight sound or whatever the case is. So, you know, it is what it is. But moving on, yeah, but wanting to talk more about the gameplay and some of the disconnect that I had, and maybe you had too. There are definitely some issues where the game's not perfect. I know it does a lot. So for those of you that are unaware, the game automatically comes with a double jump. So your character can double jump to evade. Your L1, I played on PS5. L1 is your dodge, and you cannot change that. And I hate that. And circle is your parry, which you'll see here when time slows down at certain points in combat, and it has that blue sort of accent. That's when he parries, which is fine.
Right there.
But this leads me to my biggest problem one, the camera is so far out, and two, I can't see what one other person that's also really far away is doing enough to parry him. So I'm usually inclined to dodge because there's a larger window than there is for parrying. And then every fight ends up looking the same because I punish the same way. And it ends up coming off like a really just, I wouldn't even say a boss fight more than it is a dance at the end of the day. You just beat them up enough, you keep dodging until their stamina bar goes away. By the way, this character has, I think, 3 gauges? Is that 3 or 4?
It's 3, 2 pillars, and then the last full bar. So yeah, 3.
That's a bit much, in my opinion. I hope we're not looking at a situation, because it makes me ask this question. If it's at the beginning of the game and this guy's got 4 bars, is the last boss gonna have fucking 10 bars? if which it does not imply a good boss. A long fight doesn't imply a good fight, guys. But the other issue that I have is, if this isn't the end of the game, or if this is more towards the end of the game, why do we pick this moment in particular to make the demo? I think this fight is designed to highlight how flashy that the style of the game is, but I've kept saying this every time I've looked at this. This is style with very little substance. You don't feel like you're actually attacking. You know, people play this game and they go, hey, the gameplay feels fantastic. That's usually a sign that you probably haven't played other character action games, or that maybe you just aren't familiar with what you're looking at when you're playing those games. But to be quite honest with you, you can play Devil May Cry, and then you can understand why this game plays the way it does, and then you could start asking the same questions that we do. Why does this not have impact? Why is there not a gap closing move, for instance? Why is there not an ability to get towards the enemy closer if I'm in these larger areas? You know, you only get 1 dash, otherwise you're running towards the enemy. You know, you don't really feel fast in the sense of closing the distance. You're only really fast in the sense of being in the fight. I'm getting off on a tangent here, but that's kind of some of my concerns.
Yeah, so going to the beginning of what he talked about, right? The game innately has that double jump. The L1, you will always feel better to dash than it is to parry, right? The L1 parry gives you a little bit of a boost, but just the window of active or invincible frames is much bigger. And then your parry is what changes, right? That's what allows you to do the counterattack. Staring at the screen at the bottom right, there you can see this little symbol for L2. When it's activated, I don't know how you get those, but you get special abilities. One, he slams, just slams the floor, does an AoE, and then another one that he does that it's like a slash forward with Arena, which again, Arena is Kaiser's his weapon. It's his stanzo. The menu to like the HUD is cool. It's easy to understand, right? There's you see in the middle that gold, that's your stamina meter. You get infinite running, but stamina in terms of in combat, I can block, I can parry. I never ran out of meter or had a fear of ever running out, so I don't know if it's a difficulty setting or each block is its own level up or it's default, right? Like, I don't know. The long blue meter that you guys see over there was like, that's your devil trigger. I don't know. It just feel you could put that. Maybe they put it over there because it's easier to see. I definitely think it'd be better under the life bar. Life bar at the bottom left also unique to me. I don't know why it feels super unique. Everything always feels top left. Maybe this is for streamers. If I'm streaming and I put my video on the top left and top right, I'm happy. Pressing R1 in between you fighting switches to a weapon. It's not as, in my experience, it was not as, you have to wait for the combo to finish and then it goes. It's not like you can slash once and then he brings out a big sword. It's like slash slash slash. Okay, 3 combo hits done. Big sword. Fighting Victor, this dude, after you break down his first bar, this is like the first thing I saw that I was like, what are we doing here? And this video kind of accentuates that. He bodies him over here, right? And then he's like, cool, I'm gonna go to the middle now. Now look at this arena, massive, right? Oh man, you really gotta have enough room to fight these bosses. And then you just go back to the AI mindset. I was all the way over here, the boss AI defaults to the center of the stage. He puts a circle around him, and then he blasts an AoE that what are we aiming at? What are we like? I never felt a sense of fear. Games shouldn't inherently be hard. They should be welcoming, right? And they should be for everyone, right? Dark Souls, Bloodborne, they are in a special moniker. They are extremely difficult, but they have such a great fan base and simple mechanics that people love them and they're successful. That's why they're making a Bloodborne 2. That being said, when I was fighting this boss, I was like, oh, that's the only dodge. So this is the boss's, you defeated one of my health bars. Let's rock. And I was like, okay, dude, whatever you say. You're fine. Also, I have to make the comment. I hope they change. They're not going to. This whole gold sword fight is sick. Love the design. Love the characters. Like, it's like melted gold that hardens, and gold is strong. It's like fighting a character with titanium or like diamonds. I hate the bosses. My mind as a gamer, this is a bad area to be in. This boss, spinning blades, I didn't, for the first 2 minutes of this boss fight, I never got close to the boss. I was like, where's my window to attack? Because these blades are gonna hurt me. And you can dig all up in that. They are just visual. So then that made me go, are there other visuals? Are these actually going to hurt me? And the combat feels good. It just feels empty. It feels very, in a world of AI, it feels very AI-ish. I like, yeah, soulless, soul aside, some might say.
Put that soul aside real quick.
And then let me just press this button. I never felt, maybe it's because you had 7 health in the demo. Maybe it's because, and I'm sure you're going to get a healing ability later on. I never felt the cool, oh shit moment. Like, this is so, I am a cool individual. It's trying to be the Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Stellar Blade, cool combat, but it has that, like, when you play Dark Souls, the only way to feel cool is a cool parry, or in the other iterations in Dark Souls 3, you get weapon abilities. I just never felt this satisfaction of, like, the combos felt good. I really think this game would benefit from, after you defeat each block, they kind of, I think my comparisons of bringing up other games does a disservice, and I hope people that watch this video just understand I'm just latching onto an idea. When you play God of War, after you take the enemy down to a certain health, they have like a mini cutscene where they fight, and they do dialogue, they explain. It's just a very cool way, cinematic way to explain a story and to give that power reference, right? There's a character that cannot be hit. As you fight him, you can hit him. The power dynamic here is like, hey, you're bad. I'm gonna get you.
I'm good.
Oh no, oh no. Something's influencing him. Let's fight him. All right, let's go. It's just, I never felt this umph. The attacks never felt cool. I don't know. This game has the potential. I just always feel like something's missing. And everything that we talk about here, everything is missing. This game is going to be advertised and displayed, reviewed, analyzed based on its combat, right? And everything else will be secondary. No one's going to play this game because of the story. No one plays Devil May Cry because of the story. No one plays Dark Souls because of the story. Obviously, there are people that do, but in the grandiose schemes of how do we make money, how do we turn a profit to make this into another game because it's successful, it's the combat, and the combat leaves me wanting. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to sort of summarize this is the game is trying to do too many different things, right? It's trying to be that open world game, but I can guarantee you we're not using any of our spells or any of our abilities for puzzles. They have a stance meter like this is Sekiro, even though these kinds of games don't need it. They have a double trigger mode like Devil May Cry, or like mini games, right? Bayonetta, like, you get it. And okay, let me stop real quick, because then you could see scenes like this, and you understand that
I'm back in.
You understand that this looks cool, but this doesn't play cool. You know, this is cool to watch from this standpoint. The issue is replicating this for an audience and you're just not going to have that, right? You have to have these cutscenes to finish it off. My only problem is it starts to come off like the sword doesn't even matter anything. He just waxed him with his sword, and he's still standing. There's no blood on his white clothes. So that makes me go like, all right, so swords don't mean the same thing in this game. Or what's our boy's name? The dude that follows us. Anarchy? Arena.
Yeah, I was like, were you Chaos Legion?
Anarchy in the arena. No, but it's like Anarchy. I'm sorry, Arena is not. Maybe he's dull. Maybe he can't cut shit. Like, what's going on? Why does it feel like I have a Nerf bat and I'm swinging at this guy? But anyway, going back. So we have Sekiro's stance meter. We have a developer.
Oh my god,
stuck.
I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off. This is another reason why I think that, like, when you talk about linear gameplay, Final Fantasy VII does it very well. When you do cutscene, like the characters got to crawl or move, they have dialogue, they talk. Here, in a game of speed exploration, turning into you saw him use Arena to be fucking wings to fly.
Yeah,
he's got he can't run through that small hole. He's got to shimmy.
Want to record your story?
Anyway. When I saw that, I again, taking a gamer like me and showcasing this cool combat and this character's, he flows and the dude he's so cool. Let me crouch this area real quick. I can't flow through here. It's like, all right, dude.
So yeah, here's our traversal event right here, and we're watching him gliding on his sword, which is fine, if not a little just, Sonic Adventure.
I'm telling you right now, I can load my gameplay footage. You do not need to attack. I deliberately didn't move left, didn't move right, kept going straight. This is look at the damage is negligible. Again, it could be the mode, but like nothing bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, this camera's also weird too. What's going on?
Shout out to IGN. Just. Again, this is very Sonic Adventure, right? Rolling around at you're supposed to feel this. Like, this is sick, man. This is very.
This is also kind of a bit of a issue too, because
look at that.
Yeah, in a movie this is fine. In a game this is not, because you want to play that. The whole benefit of the medium is the interactivity. Maybe you're not playing every single scene where that happens, but there was a reason why QuickTime events were created in the first place. There's
that did no damage.
Yeah, it did no damage too. That's all aesthetic.
It literally ran out. Literally, as it shot, it was like it didn't exist. It's not real. So again, there's always something missing. The threat. Where's the Where's my purpose?
Where's the stakes? Yeah,
Where's
and
the
then
stakes?
What's interesting is I learned more in this fight than I did for the boss fight. Because he's mentioning the time-space barrier from this Void Rax thing. It's creating problems. Our reality is getting warped. Didn't say anything about Victor. Because Victor's fight was just... And he's representative of this like military that's apparently chasing you down. But there's no characterization in him whatsoever. That's why I say I learned more in this fight about what's happening in the world than I did from Victor's fight. Victor's plain, man. There's nothing going on. What I was going to say, though, is... Let's keep track here. So we've got Sekiro's stance. We have Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Devil Trigger, right? A lot of games. Devil Trigger. We have Neo, Rise of Ronin, and Wu Chang. The Team Ninja game that all have that L2 sort of thing where you have special abilities. On the left, you have flasks, because if you notice when you talk to the girl, she refills your flasks. So we have a flask system as well. And then we have our own stamina meter on one of these. There's too many systems. And the thing is it truly is a concept of them putting too much into the game to make it this appealing thing. Like, I'm sure this is going to be someone's favorite game, and that's fine. That's not the purpose of this video. It's more just to maybe highlight the fact that, it's been a couple of years. This is someone who's a fan of these styles of games, and even fans can, maybe have a different interpretation of how those games actually play. I think, at the end of the day, if this game had less flourishes the way it does, if there was a lot more implied style and less just outright pure style. If I could actually go into the options menu on this demo, there'd be things that I could say positively, more positively about it. Like, I think like all the effects for this are just too over the top for me to invest in this person as a human being. I don't care. I have hard times connecting with the character. I'll have hard times connecting with the story. I have a hard time already connecting with the gameplay. It's a real uphill battle, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, this game, I'm glad a demo was released because, let's be honest, up until this demo getting sent out, I think the game was well received. Everyone was excited for it. I think I reacted to it a few times on some game trailer videos on this channel. And I love these types of combats. If it's not an RPG, a horror game, or a puzzle game, I love these kind of combat games. That's why I played Wu Chang. That's why I played Wo Long. This game...
Oh, is it Wu Long?
Wo Long was the one from like, I don't know what team made it, but it was set in the same kind of like era as Wu Chang, but it was more Neo, and
that's the game I was talking about. I said Wu Chang, but I meant Wu Long.
Oh, okay.
Wu Long was fun.
Are you talking about Monkey Man? Wukong, yeah.
Yeah, Wukong, yeah.
So the thing that gets me with this game is I feel the same. I played Forspoken. I got this collector special, not the collector's. I got the special edition. I was so pumped. You're taking. I love female lead characters. It's just it's a preference I have. Female led characters, and then it was modern times, and then she got put into this world, and it was this magic, and it was parkour. She got to wear Skechers, like Converses the whole time. It was sick. This is the same thing. I played that game. It was an empty vacuum of nothing. It was depleted of voice acting that was charismatic. It was depleted of combat that was thought-provoking and fun. Everything I just said could be associated to Lost. Now, again, we're talking about a demo piece of a whole pie, of a passion project from someone who got everyone excited for what he could do. Listen, as a consumer, that dude ran right past that girl.
Yeah.
As a consumer, I'll give it a chance. But if you give me the opportunity to taste test, I might not like it. I don't think that I'm gonna pick this game up. Hey, it's on Xbox Game Pass. Hey, chat, come hang out. It's gonna be a great time. You know what I mean? But
That's fair.
am I dropping 70 bones on this? I don't think so.
That is the biggest problem with this game, in my opinion, outside of anything we've talked about, is that it is priced as a $60 game. I don't think that is reflective of the value of its game.
No.
Of this game. I've played games that are... I've put about like 50 hours in the Abiotic Factor, which is just not even remotely this style of game. The art direction is a lot more like pretty much like what, 32, or no, it's like Half-Life 1 vibe, Half-Life 1 inspired and everything. And I put that many hours into that game. Granted, it's on Game Pass, but if the game was to be purchased, it's $30. And there's hours upon hours of now, granted, it comes down to you as the individual. What do you see as important, like, is worth your dollar? Is it a good story? Even if it's only 10 hours, is it,
Sure.
60 hours of gameplay? Is it multiplayer with your friends? There's a lot of different ways that people gauge value. So trying to speak to people on a universal term is very, or in a universal sense, is very difficult. But what I will say is, yeah, this is a hard game to recommend for anyone because its predecessors, I'd rather recommend you. I would tell you, if you've never played a character action game, I'd say play Devil May Cry 5. Not only is it effectively the best Devil May Cry, it's the most modern. It's got the most characters in it. It has the most room for you to find something to like. And it's got all these characters that are expressive and that are, you know, regardless of how short the game is from a narrative standpoint, it does highlight them so you understand who these people are a little better. You have an idea on what their motivations are, or maybe some of their backstories. I would recommend those games well over this game. I don't think that this game is bad, though. I just think that it needs more time in the kitchen. There's a reason why it kept getting delayed. This is one of those instances where maybe a little bit sooner on, someone would have mentioned, hey, you know, this doesn't feel 100%. You know, this doesn't feel like the games you're trying to make it come out to be. My only concern is now this makes me cautious about games like Phantom Blade Zero, because I really hope that game isn't, you know, a situation like this where it's all style, no substance, or limited substance. Because that game also looks very good, but it also makes you wonder, how are you doing all those abilities? How are you doing all those attacks? There's a lot of flourishes. And you know, it could absolutely fall down the same rabbit hole that this game is. So I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. I know you wouldn't recommend it, but do you have any closing thoughts about it?
Yeah, this song fucks. Goddamn. So I didn't want to say this because honestly, if I'm gonna be very real from Cloud side, this game is unpolished. I think it'll be fun. It needs to be cheaper. I'd pick it up then. That's my right. That's my quick. I played the demo as a consumer gamer. This music sounds dope as fuck. So yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't get to finish the context.
This is also a better example of first boss. I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, I agree. I do agree. I have absolutely agree. Give me the big boss that can't move very quickly. I can dash in. Yes, I agree. The demo cut for me about 2 minutes before this area. It crashed twice when I played. So my computer's not the problem. I just think, unfortunately, the demo didn't like my computer. So I never got to see this fight. The music sounds sick as hell, which is completely opposite of how all the other songs have played up until this point. But yeah, closing thoughts. If it were cheaper, I'd recommend it and I'd pick it up. If it goes on Xbox Game Pass, I'm going to be excited to play it.
Yeah, agreed. I'd say price tag wise, this one sits at about maybe 30 for me. 40, but I would 40. But if you have other elements added in there, but if it's just single player and it's just the story, then that's kind of it.
Yeah, 30 to 40 range. I think 40. I'd have to have like a, I don't know, like a people that I don't normally come hang out and stream be like, yeah, this game looks fun, and be like, okay, I'll pick it up. But I think if I were to spend 40 bones, I'd rather buy Final Fantasy IX Black Label complete in box for $40 rather than buy this game.
Makes sense. Well, considering it's your channel, you want to do the outro?
Yeah, you are valued, you are appreciated, and what happens when I press this yucking button? What happens, Shady?
Oh, it ends.